Namaste, good evening. Okay, welcome to yet another session on, you know, Ask Me Anything. This happens every Tuesday. Okay, every Tuesday at 9 p.m. on my YouTube channel. So, generally, I talk about a topic and then it's open to questions. You can ask me questions from anywhere. Okay, if I know the answer, I'll answer those, or else probably I can refer and get back to you. Okay. So every week there is a new topic, and today we have got a topic which might interest you people. You know, it's a very big topic, but I'm trying to just go overview about how Ayurveda looks at that. Okay, it is basically joint disorders. So one thing you should understand that in Ayurveda there's nothing beyond the three doshas, Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And every joint disorder can be classified under predominantly Vata, predominantly Pitta, or predominantly Kapha. And our treatment and the way we look at it also is basically through that lens. Okay, that is why I have come up with the series of the world as doshas, and not world of doshas, the world as doshas, in the sense if you are able to see everything around you as through doshas, then it is easy for you to understand and then act according to it. Okay, so here basically a joint in Ayurveda is called a sandhi. Sandhi means place where things meet. Yes, Hem, Kavita, Kamalnath, good evening to all of you. Okay, so basically where something meets, we call that a sandhi. It can be Asthi Sandhi, it can be Snayu Sandhi, okay, it can be Siras Nandhi, okay. So where two things, even in Sanskrit, you call that Sandhi is basically joining, and Sandhi Vicheta is basically separating. So Sandhi is joining, and Sandhi joins, wherever you have got Siras, Snayu, all those things meeting, we call that basically, that Sandhi is called a Marma. Okay, so all these things are important. So every sandhi, every joint where things come and meet is a very, very important marma. Okay, so let's start with an overview of how Ayurveda looks at joint disorders, and then you can start asking your questions. So, so joint disorders, as I said, basically sandhis, and in Ayurveda we can basically classify it into the predominance of Vata, predominance of Pitta, predominance of Kapha. Sorry. Okay. So in Vata, you generally have problems with movement and you will have pain. When a joint is, you have got too much of Vata. When you have got too much of Pitta, you have got inflammation. Okay, you will probably see redness of that portion, and you'll also feel heat in that place. That is when you have got Pitta predominance. And when you have got Kapha, okay, you will see that that area is stiff. You will also see that it is cold to touch, and they might also be swelling. Okay, in Vata, as I said, motions and movement is a problem. Pain, you might also see emaciation. That means loss of tissue there. So in different ways we can try to find out whether it's Vata, Pitta, or Kapha. Okay, and then when you look at that, so major classification is into two. It is degenerative and infective. Okay, so as you age, we start from the Kapha age, we go through the Pitta to the Vata age. So as you age, when you get into the Vata stage, or by excessive usage, like athletes, okay, people who play certain games like tennis or into serious sport, or people who are long distance runners or even short runners, people who exercise a lot, they have got a chance of their joint getting degenerated faster than other people who do moderate exercises. Okay, exercises are necessary, but if you overdo it, and also because of age, you will start seeing degeneration. So that is basically called a degenerative joint disorder. Then there's something also called an infective. Okay, So you can get your joint inflamed because of an infection, or sometimes autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis and all those things can also lead to an inflammative joint condition. Okay, injuries can sometimes also lead to inflammations. Okay, now when you look at degenerative, okay, it is mainly, as I said, because of old age, wear and tear happens. Okay, and this wear and tear is not only because of old age, also because of using that joint more than necessary. Okay, Atyupayoga. There's something called Hina, Ati, and okay, there's something called, Hina Mithya Ati Matra. Hina Mithya Ati Matra. Hina is underusing, Mithya is wrong usage, and Ati Matra is overusage. These are the major three conditions where you will get most issues. Even joint disorders come under that. Okay, so wear and tear is more, and due to muscle weakness. If you look at the seven dhatus, okay, Rasarakta, Mamsa, Meda, Asthi, Majja, and Shukra. Sandhi Vedana has been mentioned in Mamsa Kshaya. Okay, just imagine, in those days, Acharyas were very clear that most of the joint disorders happen because of the muscles around the joints are weak, not because the bones are weak or not because the joints are weak. It is because of the muscles which which encapsulate the joints are weak. So you have to do strengthening of muscles. Okay, now if you got infective can be because of infections, post injury, or also sometimes due to inflammatory joints, can also be due to autoimmune conditions like rheumatoid arthritis, or um, ankle spondylitis. Lot of issues can happen, disc problem and all those things. That is basically because of trauma. You can have joint issues because of a lot of reasons. Now, how do we actually approach a joint disease? It is not very complicated. The treatment is slightly elaborate, but I can tell you in very, very small thing. For us to basically any disease, it starts from the ama condition. That means I've been telling that always. It starts to the kapha stage, gets to the pitta stage, and then gets into the vata stage. So any disease, we have to see that we bring it to the vata stage before we actually pacify it, and then we give it nourishment, rasayana, and all those things. So if a joint has got kapha, okay, we'll see that. Okay, so normally when there's predominance of vata, we call the sandhivata. When there is predominance of pitta, it can be considered to be vata rakta or rakta vata, people call that. Okay, and if there is a lot of stiffness and there is predominance of uh, kapha, then you have got amavata. So in all conditions, we have to take care of the secondary dosha, because mostly all these joint diseases have got a predominance of vata. So you will have to bring it to the vata state before we pacify it. Okay, so remove the associated dosha, kapha or pitta. You have to remove it. Okay, if there is too much of kapha, what we do is normally we don't do massage if there is too much of kapha or pitta associated with it, because if there is kapha, you apply oil, you'll feel that the symptoms will slowly start going up. So you have to remove the kapha. For that, we use dhanya amladhara, or there might be churnas which we apply on the place so that the swelling is removed. First, the swelling has to be removed before you manage the joint. Likewise, in pitta also, first you have to remove the inflammation. Once the inflammation is removed, then after that we can probably get into the kevala vata, and then we subside the vata and take care of the joint disorders. Okay, we have got a lot of internal and external treatments which we do to manage vata disorders, and joint disorders are one of the strengths of Ayurveda. Even though Acharya says, it is not very easy to manage a joint disorder, because there is excessive vata, and the person, the body itself is going into degeneration. So regeneration is what we have to do in all joint disorders. Okay, so you can start asking your questions. Uh, PA, what can be done to cure knee osteoarthritis and meniscus tear? Okay, PA. Now, okay, osteoarthritis is something which can be really managed. Now, I don't say that all osteoarthritis can be treated, but it depends upon how much. See, osteoarthritis is basically a degenerative condition. It depends upon how much of degeneration has happened. Okay, depending upon the degeneration, we can definitely manage a lot of things. Okay, PA. Meniscus tear. Meniscus tear, if it is a mild tear, okay, then we have got very good treatments, and where we tie the whole thing, and then slowly you will see that the tear gets repaired. But if there is a complete tear, okay, then there is no way. Probably if you are not into very active sports or something, you can manage without anything. But if you want to play a sport, or you want to do trekking, and you want to be physically active, then the only way you can repair is by surgery. That means you have to join back the ligament which has tear, okay, which is undergone. But osteoarthritis, we can do it really well. But I don't say that everything we can cure. It depends upon what condition you are in. During weightlifting or strength training, next day muscle soreness occurs. What does this indicate? What dosha is this? Okay, so you go to the gym and you lift your weights one day. The next day when you go and you touch that part, you feel soreness. Okay, it is basically because of the accumulation of kapha there. Okay, and that kapha basically prevents the vata from moving through it properly. So you don't have to do much. The moment you give rest, or you give a gentle massage, you will notice that that area gets better. One other thing you have noticed, that area, if you slowly start moving again, you will notice that the accumulated kapha, that is thiraguna, okay, kapha. The moment you start moving it, movement is chala, right? That is vata guna. So you will see that the vata slowly starts moving and the kapha gets dispersed from there, and you will feel better. Okay, so it is basically the kapha getting accumulated. The pain is because of vata. Okay, the kapha is getting accumulated there. Muscle tearing and muscle recovery in modern gym things. How does Ayurveda sees this? Muscle tear can happen. See, muscle tear can happen only if you probably stretch the muscle or give that muscle more load than it can handle. Okay, so if you're somebody who goes to the gym, and you're going there for the first time, or you're a newcomer, you might look at people who are lifting heavy weights, and you'll feel inspired sometimes to lift heavy weights. That will actually cause injury to you. That is not advisable. You can probably lift that weight probably 6 months or 8 months down the line. If you slowly start with 5 kilograms, 7.5, 10, 12, just slowly increase, then you can probably go to that 25 kilograms. Okay, so if you in the gym, we get a lot of cases where people twist their shoulders, or they've got mild muscle tears and all those things. And by and large, by rest, most of the issues are resolved. And also, we do have treatments where we help the recovery happen faster. Okay, so muscle recovery in modern gym, yes, I would say it is okay. Yeah, see, even if you lift the weight and suddenly the dumbbell turns in your hand, you might get a muscle catch, or it might not be a tear. It might be a mild disturbance to the fibers of the muscle. That can be actually strengthened by doing a lot of muscles, which Ayurveda also says you have to strengthen the muscle. As I said, most of the pains which happen in the body is because of weak muscles. So strengthening of muscle is very, very important. Okay. Any herbs or food habits or rasayanas for joint health? So if you look at joint health, okay, it depends upon which joint is affected here. Most, see, for us, it is basically, it is vayu and it is vyana vayu. Okay, so health of the joint depends upon how much, because the purpose of the joint is to bend and to move. So when there is movement, there is definitely friction, and to prevent that, you also have to have what do you call, fluid inside the joint, and that is basically kapha. So anything and everything that will increase that little bit of kapha inside the joint is what we have to adapt. So treatments are also the same. But if there is a lot of kapha over there, and you have got swelling in the joint, then that excessive kapha or the bad kapha has to be first removed, and then bring it to Kevalavada, and then slowly try building the nourishment inside the joint. Hope that is clear. Okay. So oil is one thing which works wonders. Okay. And herbs, yes, there are a lot of medicines internally we can give it depending upon conditions, whether it's predominantly vata, pitta, or kapha. Okay. There are a lot of kashayams which we give, Maharasana kashayam is there, Manjishtadi kashayam is there, a lot of kashayams are there. Herbs are there which we can give both external application and internally things we can do. Then, and treatments like massages and applying heat, and also tying it with certain herbs, and what else, dhara, pouring oil or pouring other liquids on top of it, everything, lot of treatment things are there which we can do to manage joint pains. Sometimes when you have got too much of inflammation, we also apply leech, so that that blood is removed and that inflammation also goes down. So we can manage knee pain in many ways. Okay, Shashikar. Soundarya, why do sometimes muscles and joints in body don't release stress for a prolonged time and relax naturally? Is there a name for this condition? See, what happens is it's called sankocha. Okay, so what happens here is basically your muscles, when you, for example, I'm sitting at the computer right now and I'm sitting in the wrong position always and working. After a point of time, what happens is that muscle being in that wrong position for a long time, and I'm working like that muscle goes into spasm. Okay, that is sankocha. It goes into spasm, and that sometimes takes a little bit of time for it to get released. So you have to do probably reverse stretching, or sometimes you can do what do you call, moderate kind of massage, or sometimes you also have to do deep tissue massage to relax those muscles and release the spasm. So what happens is sometimes if your back is under spasm, okay, I'll tell you what can happen. You have got the spine one below the other, and the muscles are under spasm. So the muscles are attached to the spine. And if those muscles are in spasm for a long time, they are attached to the spine, and they are spasm and they are pulling the spine. After a point of time, what will happen? The pull, continuous pulling, you will have the what do you call, the spine slightly moving. You can get a disc prolapse. So if you are somebody who is sitting in the wrong position and you have got mild aches here and there, don't take it easy. You have to see that spasm is released once in a while, or cumulatively it can lead to disc prolapse. See, you don't have to get an injury or something. This is a constant injury which can lead to disc prolapse. Okay. When accidentally bones or joints break, why does it swell? Which dosha this refers to? See, do you know why probably why your joint breaks pretty fast, or you get a sprain sometimes in your joint? It is because your muscles are not strong. If your muscles are strong, when you're walking and you get a twist, when your muscles are strong and exercised, they become really elastic. So when you get that bend, the muscle actually goes elastic and they come back. So the impact on the joint or the bone is less. If they are not toned, that means they are lax. When you hit it, the hit is directly on the joint or the bone, and that's the reason why you get fracture or a sprain. And you have noticed that mostly when your bone breaks, very rarely you get swelling. Okay, if the marrow doesn't leak out, all those things, you will not get swelling. You will feel pain when that joint moves. You get more when there is a sprain, and that swelling is, again, as I said, it is basically the body's natural mechanism to protect that area so that you don't move it. It swells. And that any swelling you see, if you see heat, yes, there is basically pitta and lot of kapha over there. That kapha has to be taken care of. Once that swelling goes down, only you will feel better. Okay. When are you planning to continue posting shloka of the week videos? Those videos are very informative, very interesting to learn the shlokas and their meanings. Yeah, Kavita, I understand that. I probably did 52 shlokas. I did it for a year, you know, and I'm thinking of restarting, but I don't know which chapter to pick and where to restart from. Because if I start I started with the first chapter and a little bit of dinacharya, which are basics. But if at all I start with shloka of the week, then I'll have to go into things which are too much in depth, which might not be digestible for most people. That's the reason why I'm thinking whether I should go for the shloka of the week or not. I actually have got a plan of the herb for the week. It is under process, and I think I should be coming up with that, Kavita Ramesh, instead of shloka of the week. And I'm happy that you like the shloka of the week. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you will see about 52 shlokas are there. I think 52 or 53 shlokas I have explained, okay, from Ashtanga Hridaya, which might be informative for you. You can go back and check. Thank you, Kavita, for that. How can chronic bad circulation and muscle weakness be reversed or managed to the best possible level? Soundarya, muscle weakness and bad circulation can definitely be managed. One is by abhyanga, okay, by that means by oil application. Abhyanga marjoram. See, what the reason why we get all these issues is because we have drifted from the daily routines which we are supposed to do. Dinacharya. Dinacharya says Abhyanga Majaret Nityam. Application of oil on the body has to be done every day. If you keep on doing that, you'll never have bad circulation. Okay. And then what? Vyayamam Ardha Shaktya Nishe Vastu. Use half your strength to do exercise. So if you do exercises on a daily basis, okay, run, rain or shine, you give exercises. It's too hot today or it's raining today and you skip your exercises. If you keep on doing exercises regularly using half your strength moderately, you will not have any issues with your muscle weakness. Okay, so the only way you can reverse is slowly start doing exercises and slowly start doing regular massages, at least twice or thrice a week. Okay, Soundarya. Does knee popping sound while sitting on the floor every time is normal? Okay. See, knee popping is you hear the sound tuck. It is basically, after some time, there is air which gets trapped in the joint. Okay. So when you do that, you hear that sound, popping. That is absolutely not a problem. But only thing is that I don't want you to do it too much. Okay. So it is quite natural to have your joints or your knees popping. Okay, it is very normal. You don't have to be too careful about it. As you said, as long as you said that you don't have any problem while walking, running, or climbing stairs or doing any activities, it is perfectly normal. You keep on doing exercises where you strengthen all the muscles around all the joints and everywhere. Okay, Kamalnath. If I perform Padahastasana daily, my spine gets stretched and I'll be able to achieve maximum this pose. But if given break, it will be again difficult to achieve. Why is this? What is being accumulated around the spine? Shashikar, see, it is like it is just like a door. If you open a door every day, you can easily move it. The moment you don't move it, it gets sthira guna there. It's kapha basically. Then what happens after a point of time? You find it very, very, very difficult to open it. You find it difficult. So that is what happens with your spine also. You keep on doing your stretching every day. You can keep on doing it. The more you use, the more you can use. So if you stop using, if you give it rest, it will rust. Okay, it's the same principle. Okay, so you have to keep on. I don't say every day you have to do it. At least twice or thrice a week you do it. You can keep on doing it. Okay, so it's basically kapha that comes and gets accumulated. Okay. Cynthia, is there any oil you can recommend for a previously broken knee that still gets stiff now and then? Now and then. Okay, sorry. Injury happened 11 months ago. Yeah, Cynthia. Okay. See, I would say, first of all, it is always good for you to start doing a little bit of exercise and do strengthening of those muscles, all muscles. Okay, that muscles also. So if you want to actually remove the stiffness, I would say Mahanarana Tailam would be a good choice for you. Okay, apply that oil every day, give that area a gentle rub, and also try doing strengthening of that area. Mahanarana Tailam will work really well for you. Sunita Devadas, I can't see a message from your side. I think probably your message got broken. You had thought of typing wood and it got broken. So, any other questions coming up? Yeah, I saw that. Okay. Would doing yoga practices like Surya Namaskar strengthen muscles, as in some postures we are carrying our own body weight? Is it equal to weight training in the gym? Um, Hi, Sunita. Sunita, I would want to tell you, yoga, some people, the purpose of yoga, let me put it very theoretically, okay? Yujyate anena the yoga. That is when it is your union with the higher self is basically yoga. Okay, for that, after the yama niyama, and then you learn the asanas. And asanas are basically not basically learned or to be practiced as exercise. You definitely get a lot of stretching and all those things while doing asanas, but the main purpose of asana is not for exercise. The purpose of asana is to become sthira in that, to become that you don't move in that, so that you can get into pranayama. Okay, then you can get to dharana, dhyana, and then to samadhi. So, how do I put it? Yoga is basically not work out. Yoga is basically work in. You're working with your soul as far as yoga goes. Yes, you'll find a lot of stretch and all those things when you do all those asanas, but I would say, still I would say it's always good for you to do a little bit of weight training. You need not basically lift weights. You can do pull-ups, you can do push-ups, you can do with your own body weight, but you have to do a little bit of strengthening for your muscles, because muscles will grow only against resistance. Okay, very important. Herb of the week idea sounds good. I use sites like Easy Ayurveda to know Guna Karma Vipak action. So interesting and insightful. Generally, it is actually good. Dr. Hebbar has actually done a great job with Easy Ayurveda, and all of you can. It's a nice site. You can go there. Any most of the herb you type, you will get the Rasaguna Virya Vipaka of all those things, and then you can go through. That's one reason why I was also thinking, what will I do with herb of the week? But still, I will try to come up with something. Okay, the herb of the week. KBK, sir, is there any remedy for bunion toe? Bunion toe is basically, if you look at the feet, okay, you have got the big toe, and at the base of the big toe, the toe basically bends a little bit, and you have got a ball-like thing at the base of it, and it's sometimes painful, sometimes not. So, see, it can become hereditary, and sometimes, many a times, it comes because of wrong footwear. Okay, so what initially when it starts, by tying it properly and giving it reverse pressure, yes, to a large extent you can manage it. But if it is really protruded a little bit, I would say the only way you can manage it is by doing a surgery and surgically rectifying it. But you should be very careful with your footwear. I've seen a lot of women who wear high heels, tight high heels, where the toes are tight together, and you have got a high heel here. You have got a chance of the bone of the big toe pushing out and causing a Banyan. Okay. Gym people use omega or fish oil for their joint health. What's the equivalent medicine in Ayurveda? Is omega capsule helpful or safe to use? How? Shashikar, if you go through the textbook of Ashtanga Hridaya, while explaining what vyayama or exercise, okay, as I said, he says that you have to use only half your strength. All those things have been told, and one thing is very clearly he says is snigdha bhojani. Okay, a person who takes food mixed with snigdha can be oil or ghee. Okay, not somebody who takes dry food, like most people avoid fat while doing exercises because their only purpose of exercise, or they start exercise only when they are overweight. Okay, for somebody who is strong and fit, you have to consume ghee or whichever oil you're used to, not fried one. Okay, you pour ghee or you can pour oil, mix it with food and have, so that your body gets that lubrication when you do the exercises. So Ayurveda recommends snigdha bhojana. I would say you can add a couple of teaspoons or a tablespoon of ghee into your food when, if you are somebody who does exercise regularly and moderately. Running, walking, jogging, which prakriti can do what? Okay, I would say if you are a kapha prakriti, you can do more exercise. If you are a pitta prakriti, you should do probably doing little less, and vata prakriti can do a little bit lesser than that. So from that you can make out, because exercise actually increases vata and pitta. It increases vata more and pitta also. So it reduces kapha. So a person who is kapha prakriti can actually do more exercises. He'll have more strength. So his half strength is probably more than of a vata prakriti person. Okay, so it is something which you can probably understand, whether jogging, running, or walking is better for each person. I would say whatever you like, you do. If you're somebody who likes jogging, but if you're vata prakriti person, don't jog too much. If you're kapha person, you can jog more. Okay, it again depends. But a kapha person can do more. A vata should do the least. Kamal Nath. For joint pains, I noted Mahanarana Thailand giving amazing results than famous allopathy ointments. Could you please say some side on this Thaila? Mahanarana Taila, it's got so many ingredients, and sometimes we are so surprised that if you look at the yoga, there's so much of milk into it, curd into it, a lot of things into it. Okay, and sometimes we feel, we acharyas, we have had a lot of discussions about Mahanarana Taila. We feel, that this is not a Taila which can be only used for external application. Okay, it is something. If you look at all the ingredients, it is something which can also, that you can also give it internally, but we normally don't do, because the paka at which the Mahanarana Taila is normally taken and available in the market is Khara paka, which can be only used for external application. So don't take Mahanarana Tailam internally. Okay, so it is one of the best yogas. If you look at most of the balms, for example, if you look at Nagarjuna, okay, the rheumat balm, or balms which have been created for pain, the main ingredient in the pain balm is Mahanarana Taila. Okay, that's the reason why it works really well. Okay, it's an amazing formula. Generally, for absolute beginners like myself, going within regularly enough is very challenging, let alone being with the highest self all the time. How can such a person improve intuition? Intuition many a times comes with experience. Okay, if you are somebody who has, so we have got our senses. If you are open to the world actually speaks to you. Okay, the more and more people who are engrossed within themselves initially, okay, like they're always reading a book, or always in the mobile phone, or always isolated, it is very difficult for you to be intuitive. Intuition normally comes out of experience from life. So if you have got if it is carry forward from a previous birth, then I don't want to comment. But otherwise, it comes from experience. So I want you to open up all your senses and start seeing things, start hearing things, start feeling things. Then you'll start becoming very, very, very intuitive. And the For absolute beginners, I would say, even if you look at the greatest yogi, probably Patanjali, one one day he was also an absolute beginner, right? He also started. Only thing is that he did small things consistently to get results. If you are in a hurry to get results, then I would say it is not a right thing to do. Start somewhere, do small things, and you will definitely get there. There is no way that you'll not reach there. Okay, but it's all slow is fast. I think you have heard that, right? Okay, so keep all your senses open first. That's why we have got the yama and niyama. Yama and niyama is basically getting all the senses out there, being empathetic to the world and following your dharma, and all those things starts with yama and niyama. Then you can get into your asanas and your pranayamas and all those things. So start with opening all your senses and get in touch with nature. Okay, people around you. Can Vata person build muscle and look bulk? Is that, and if not, how can we gain muscle strength which help in joint? See, Vata person, if a Vata person starts building bulk and a lot of muscle, then he is going against his nature, which might not be beneficial for him on the longer run. Okay, let me put it that way. And Shashika, second part, for a vata person, how can you get without building muscle bulk? How will it help in your joint health? I think that's what you understand. If you see, you need not have to gain lot of muscle mass for your joints to be strong. You always have a little bit of muscle around. Everybody's got muscle around the knees. Only thing is that for a vata person, since his frame is small, he only have to do so much to get all his muscles stronger. You do regular exercises, get all those muscles which are around the joint strong, and you will be strong. Don't worry at all. You don't have to build big muscles. Sensory overload is another challenge when I try what you just said. I am welcoming the challenge. No, sensory overload is too much because, see, I'm telling you, it is because of you watching TV, or probably you are Instagram or something else. Too much of information out there. We are overloaded with information. I'm telling you to look at the world. You're walking on the streets, look what is happening around. You're talking to people. And so one thing is that you have to understand that when you are talking to somebody, you can only talk things what you know. But the day you decide to shut up, you will listen to a lot of things which you don't know. Okay, this is the biggest problem with human people. We know a little bit and we want to only talk about it. The moment you shut up, you will probably get exposed to a lot of things in this world. Okay, I'm not, see, I understand a lot of information news, but those, filter all those things and be open. Okay, you will definitely reach Janani. Can Vata person build his Mamsa Dhatu more, or will it be limited? It will always be limited. And if you go beyond that and try building a lot of muscle, that will become detrimental to you and it will not work in your benefit at all. Little bit you can, but with whatever you are, I want you to make it strong, Shashika, rather than, trying to build huge muscles, looking at Hrithik Roshan or looking at Salman Khan and want to be like him. you know don't ever compare yourself with somebody else, your prakriti. And when you are in your prakriti doing things which will sustain your prakriti, you are the healthiest. Can alum be used in underarms as deodorant? Alum cannot be used as deodorants, but alum is something which can be used to clean your underarms. Okay, it is a very good cleanser. You can probably sprinkle a few drops of water and you can use it to clean your underarms. Same thing happens, even after shaving. Okay, it is antimicrobial. So people sprinkle water on the face and they apply alum on the face. It will burn a little bit, but it is very good. How to adapt amount of activity based on seasons for optimal joint health? When the season is hot, naturally the amount of exercise you do should go down. And when the weather is so we have got this adana kala and visarga kala. Adana kala is when the energy, you start losing energy, and visarga kala is when you start getting energy. So either way, when you see, you are using only half your energy. So in the hotter seasons, your energy is anywhere low. So your amount of exercise you can do is also low. Do only that much. But in the cooler times when your energy is higher, again use only half your strength so that you can do more exercises. It is just trying to adapt yourself to what is happening outside. Okay, so you should know what your strength is. You should then they should be able to calculate your half strength and then start doing it. So if you start doing exercises on a regular basis, say for example, you can walk you to fall down dead, you can walk 10 kilometers, then half strength is 5 kilometers. Okay, so then you should walk only 5 kilometers. But as you keep on walking, you'll notice that you'll be able to walk 12, 15, 16. So your half strength also slowly keeps on going. It's not that you're always fixed at 5. Your half, as your strength goes up, your half strength also slowly goes up, right? So you have to make the changes accordingly, generally. Okay. Doctor, could you please consider explaining the Ayurveda principles of vegetable, fruit, spices that were very early in health of the week series? Okay, Kavita, I understand that. Okay. I will try to work on that. And but the thing is that I don't know how many weeks I can go. Probably I can take might be 10 or 15 week. I can come up with something like that, and I can put out videos out there. Might be a Wednesday or something. I can come up with a short video, might be a couple of minutes, so that you can understand a little bit about fruit, vegetables, and all those things. That's a good thing, Kavita. Let me think. Okay. I have some old alum. Is there expiry for alum? I don't think there is any expiry for alum. You wash it really well, Kamalnath, and start using it. Okay, no problem. Any other questions? Or have we come to the end of the session today? I just want to be extremely sure, before I shut down, because many a times, it doesn't refresh. I think I'm done. Okay, so I'll see you next week with some other topic. Pata, thank you. Okay, can muleti be used in drinking water? Muleti. Muleti. I was just thinking. Okay, muleti, I think is Glycyrrhiza glabra, right? Adimathura. Normally we don't use that because in Malayalam we call that Eratimadhuram. If I think what I'm thinking is right, okay, because if you boil muleti too much in water, it is something which can actually result in you vomiting. It is a vamanopagadravya, just like vacha. Okay, so little bit, yes, it might help you. It might help you with too much of what you call kapha. But if the dose is slightly more, the person might vomit. I normally don't see people prescribing muleti boiled water. Okay. Yeah, Yashti Madhu, same thing. I got it right. Okay, it is a vamanopagadravya. You boil might be 5 grams or 10 grams of muleti in a couple of liters of water and you drink, you'll definitely vomit. Okay. Does castor oil packs work for liver detox, Harsha? I've heard a lot of things on Instagram. I've seen all those things, but I don't have any personal experience with that. But I don't, so I don't want to comment on that. But still, I would say applying castor oil on top of the liver. For me, it doesn't sit well that it is going to detox the liver. Okay. Probably it might generate a little bit of heat, yes. For the tummy pain and all those things, that it really works. It can generate a little bit of heat, and that can be felt by the liver. But detox of the liver, I don't think it will be that effective. Probably you should do something else. Virechana is one of the best things which you can do to detox your liver. What is the difference between Triphala and Triphala Gugulu? Cynthia, Haritaki, Vibhitaki, and Amalaki, when in different combinations, okay? It can be 1:1:1, 1:2, 2:4, whatever combinations you take, it is called Triphala. Triphala Gugulu is a preparation where you have got a lot of medicines plus gugulu in it. Okay, it is called a gugulu preparation because half or more than half of that medicine contains gugulu, comifera mukul. Okay, Chandraprabhavati. We don't call it a Gugulu because it doesn't have half of Gugulu. Yogaraja Gugulu, Mahayogra, Kaishwar Gugulu, Kanchanara Gugulu. All these are Gugulu preparations. They're called Gugulu because when you look at, if you're taking 100 grams of medicine, 50 or more than that, 50 grams or more than that, if it is Gugulu, then it is called a Gugulu. Okay. So Triphala is only those three fruits powdered. Triphala Gugulu is lot of gugulu and triple and other medicines inside it. Okay. Why do bones stop growing after some point of time? Not only bones, everything in the body stops growing after a point of time. Your eyes don't grow beyond a certain. You know, nothing grows, Shashikar, because Shiryate anena ite sharira. By the age of 21, 22, 23, you have reached the maximum growth of your body. Okay. After that, probably because of lifestyle, instead of going this way, you might start going this way. That's a different thing. Okay. And from there, you are going towards death. Shashikar. Okay. You will be maintaining probably that for about 10, 15 years till about 30, 35. Then slowly you are going down. So everything stops growing. Even trees, they don't grow. If a tree is 100 years old, do you think every year it will keep on growing? After a point in time, it will stop growing. Okay. Everything will stop growing. Okay. So let us wind up today's class. Thanks a lot. I'll see you next week with another topic. Okay. Bye. Good night.